All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Got a little different video for you today. I'm gonna do a how-to video. I've got the Black Friday tournament on Douglas coming up, obviously on Black Friday. I'm gonna try to get a couple of practice days in before that, but I'm getting almost to that 100-hour mark on my motor. I think I'm at 94-ish hours last time I looked at the vessel view, which was just the other day, somewhere between 94 and 96 hours probably. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock out the 100-hour service, which is oil, engine oil, and lower unit oil. Very easy to do. Mercury has made it extremely easy to do this stuff yourself on your motor, save you some time and money. You know, most dealers are backed up 2, 3, 4 weeks longer, or even longer, on getting stuff in to work on for you. And of course, you know, they charge labor. That's how they make a living. So save yourself the time and the labor and do it yourself. Super easy. Just need a few tools to do it. So we're going to jump right in. I'm going to show you everything that you need to do this and exactly how to do it. And super simple. I say that. I've done a lot of mechanic work. I am not a certified mechanic. I am a YouTube certified mechanic, especially on diesel power stroke trucks. I used to have several of those. So a lot of times mechanic work that's supposed to be simple turns out to be not so simple for me. So we'll see how it goes. Stand by. All right, guys, we're up in the boat now. The first thing you want to do is take your cowling off. If you haven't done that, super simple on these, on the 200, 225, 250s, and 300, they're all 4.6 liter V8s. They're all basically, well, they're all exactly laid out the same. So that is just well, hold on. There we go. That's just a push down and it opens up. It's got this little red tab here. You lift that up and that releases your cowling. And you just lift it up, pull it off there, and set it off to the side. Set it somewhere where it's not going to get beaten, banged around, damaged. All right, so that gives you access to your, obviously your dipstick and your oil fill location. So let me get down here and walk around, and we'll drain the oil. Try not to break any rods while I'm doing this. Excuse the mess in my storage building here. All right, so here's your oil drain. And what you're gonna need here is a 5/8 deep socket. And break that loose. And the oil change kits, I didn't get an actual kit this time, I just got 2 gallons of oil. But the oil change kits from Mercury come with this little piece of hose right here. You want this piece of hose, or you want a piece of hose, because if not, it's going to be a mess. You're going to have oil everywhere. But it's, if I'm not mistaken, it is a 7/16 inside diameter hose. So you can get a length of hose at any part store if you don't have one. And thread that on there like so. And then you want to, I think it's 2.5 turns you loosen it, because if you loosen it too far, they say you will damage the seal. There's 1 turn. It's starting to come out now. There's 2 turns. I do that without getting oil everywhere. Yep, I got oil everywhere. That's 3. There we go. So you want to get oil all over your hands. That makes it just perfect. Have you a shop towel handy? Like I told you guys, everything is not completely simple for me. Then what you want to do, you want to get your FDA approved hand cleaner, also known as brake cleaner. Clean the oil off your hand. I clean everything with brake cleaner. All right. We'll let that drain good. The other tools you're going to need while that's draining we'll go over. For your prop nut, the prop nut is a 1 1/16 inch socket. Probably needs your breaker bar. And this part, I know I've seen people not do this, and it's probably fine, I'm sure, as long as you get it good and tightened back down. But the Mercury specs for tightening that prop nut back down is 55 inch-pounds. So since I've got a torque wrench, I'll tighten it back down to 55 inch-pounds. I'm sorry, not inch-pounds, foot-pounds. 55 foot-pounds. I don't know why I said inch-pounds. Inch-pounds wouldn't be tight enough for nothing. So that's draining. Walk around here. Show you the oil filter location. It's on the other side. Here's your oil filter. And I'll have to walk back outside and get my oil filter wrench out of my truck. I left it in my toolbox, but there's your oil filter. And there's a little catch pan here to catch the oil that comes out of your oil filter, because there will be some. And you can put that little 7/16 inside diameter hose right here. That pops right off. And that way you can keep from draining oil all that's down inside your motor. So we're gonna let that drain for just a minute. I'm gonna get my oil filter wrench and I'll be right back with you. All right, guys, I'm back with you here. As you can see, that's pretty much drained. It's still dripping just a little bit, but that's good enough. So what you want to do is just, while you still got the hose on so you can keep it from dripping everywhere, just hand tighten that up to where it will quit dripping out of the drain plug. All right, take your hose off. And it's still going to drip a little bit, so that's just the way she rolls. And you want to take your 5/8 inch deep socket, just get that good and snug. I don't know if there is a torque spec on that. There probably is, but if there is, I don't know what it is. You don't want to over tighten it, but you want to get it tight enough to where it's not going to leak. Take your shop towel and just wipe your residual oil off. I like to get a paper towel and kind of stick up in there and get the rest of that oil out so it'll quit running down the side of the motor, and make sure you ain't got no leaks. Soak up that residual for a minute and then make sure we ain't got no leaks. All right, so what I do to dispose of the oil properly, and we're going to try to do this without spilling it, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop my lower unit down into this pan when I go to draining the lower unit grease oil. I don't want to drop it down in this oil, so I've got just an old 5-gallon gas can here that I put this in, and then once it gets full, I take it and dispose of it properly. side of that off so it don't rip all over everything. All right, next thing I'm going to do before I go to taking the oil filter and all that stuff off and putting a new one on and putting the oil back in it, so we're going to go ahead and take our prop off and be letting our lower unit oil drain, because you know it's not cold out here, but it's not hot either, and it's not, the lower unit oil is kind of thick, so it's not it's going to take it a little bit to drain. So we're going to go ahead and take our prop off. Move my light over here, maybe we can see a little bit better. All right. That is known as a BFH, and I hope we don't need it, but if we do, I'll show you what it's for. If you don't know what a BFH stands for, it stands for big freaking hammer. Other people might call it other things, but and there's a time in my life that I would have too, but that's what we'll call it now. I left my block of wood in my truck. I'll be right back with you. All right, guys, I'm back with you now. Got our block of wood in there to keep our prop from turning. We're going to go ahead and break the prop nut loose. Probably should have put the little tabs down first. But it came out, so we'll... All right, there's our nut. So everything you take off the prop, take it off in order and put it back on in order. All right, there's our little nut, our little keeper. Bend them tabs back down in just a minute. So this goes on this way. So put that right there. Don't know what else. Never took one off this 200. I had a 150 Pro XS before this, so alright, just pull that off like this, like so. Alright. Alright, now this dude right here, here's where your BFH comes into play. Can't remember what they call this right here, but the one on my 150 Pro XS, when I changed it, was a booger to get off. And it only had 100 hours on it. It was a new motor. But it was an absolute bear to get off. So you don't want to beat the crap out of it with that hammer, obviously, because you don't want to damage it. I've got an extra one laying around here somewhere. But just give it a few taps with that hammer and it should come right off. We shall see. On the 150 guy, I don't know, I probably can't. On the 150, there was no way you could change that lower unit oil without taking this off. You could drain it, but you couldn't hook the little connector back up to it without removing this. You might be able to on this one. I don't know. but I would still like to get that off. So let me work on getting this off and I'll get back with you in just a minute. All right, guys. Popped her right off there, give it a decent little whack with the 4-pound hammer, and she came right off there. Might have could have done it without it, but I'd rather just go ahead and get it off there and make sure we don't have no problems. Clean that off a little bit if you want to. Don't know that it matters. Lay that aside. All right, I can't remember what size those sockets are, those nuts are. Looks like they are a 10 millimeter. Should have known everything's a 10 millimeter. Got a phone call here, guys. Hold on just a minute. All right, guys, I'm back with you. Sorry about that. I had a work call there I had to take. But anyway, it's 10 millimeter. So you want to lower your unit down into your catch pan. And you're gonna have a little water in there probably from you last time you had it at the lake. Go ahead and get my seat. Also known as a cooler. The first one you want to take off is the bottom one, which is going to be your drain and refill. And it's going to have a little gasket on the back of it, and make sure that gasket comes off. With it. Let me see the camera where you guys can see better. I see that gasket. There it comes. And you're going to want to replace them. Some say you don't have to, some say you should. I say why not? They're cheap. Replace them. And this next one is your vent. It's going to allow your lower unit oil to drain. I would have thought some of that would be coming out by now anyway, but there's nothing coming out of there yet. I hope it does. If it don't, that's no good. Why is nothing coming out of there? Huh. That is very strange. Is it so cold that it's just not coming out? There's a little coming out of there, but not a lot. I think, guys, it's just cold. It's not really cold, but it's not up to temperature either. So it's draining. It's just going to drain really slow. So as you can see, that's draining. There's your 2 bolts. We'll set them over here. Top, bottom. Or I'm sorry, top, bottom. We'll replace those gaskets in a minute. So she's draining, that's good. Got to get worried for a minute. There we go. Let her drain. All right. And while that's draining, we will take our oil filter off and do all that. Try to get my light over here where we can see good. Okey-doke. get our drain tube and get it ready. What you can do with this, guys, there won't be a lot of oil come out of there, but there will be some. So what you can do with it is you can get you a pop bottle, water bottle. Luckily I have a nice supply of them in my garbage bag that I keep in my storage unit here. I have one down here somewhere. I know, there we go. There we go. We'll have this ready to go. Oops, so it doesn't run out. Let's go ahead and crack our oil filter. Get it loosening up. Get your oil filter wrench. Start loosening your oil filter. I hope you guys can see this. I don't know if you can or not, but anyway, start. There we go. Get it started loosening to where you can loosen it by hand or take it off by hand. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and get our drain tube on here. Well, I didn't expect it to give me that much difficulty, but it is. That's all right. And go ahead and take your oil filter off. We didn't have any residual, so that's good. Go ahead and put that little dude back in there. Okey-doke. Set this over here. Back down there. Alright. Don't kick your stuff around to where you're gonna not know where it goes. It's your old oil filter. What you're gonna want to do when you go to put this new oil filter on is you're gonna want to get you a little bit of, well, first off, just clean your mating surface around your oil filter housing. That way you got a good clean surface to create a good seal. Now, get the oil filter, take the little plastic off. Now, you're going to want to get you a little bit of clean oil and just lubricate lightly the mating surface of your new oil filter. That way that'll give it a good seal. Now you're going to be careful putting this back on so as not to cross thread it. You can go ahead and get it good and hand tightened. And some guys just hand tighten them, and that's fine. And apparently they have no problems with that. But what I do, whether it be on a boat or whatever, truck, whatever I'm changing the oil on, is I get it hand tight. And then I take my oil filter wrench and I tighten it just a hair more. You don't want to get it too tight to where you have to fight the oil filter to get it off when you go to change it again. But just turn it half a turn, quarter a turn, something like that. That should be sufficient. Alright. I'm going to stick this down in the overflow, little overflow reservoir there. I'm gonna stick that down in there and just make sure that'll let us know if we have any leaks. It'll leak down in there before I button everything back up. Remind me to take that out of there. All right. So next thing we do, next thing I'm gonna do, guys, I'm gonna clean my funnel out where I used it to pour that old oil through. So I'm gonna take some brake cleaner, clean that funnel out real good, and that way I'm not pouring clean oil through a dirty oil funnel. So I'm gonna do that right quick and I'll be right back with you. All right, guys, we're back up here in the boat now. At the top of our motor, we've got our clean, dry funnel. Go ahead and put our funnel in there. That's a longer funnel than what I would like to have. As a matter of fact, I wish I had a shorter funnel. I thought I did here, but I apparently do not. Anyway, it'll work. Just paper towels here when we get ready to check the oil. Then we're going to take our oil. I'm glad I didn't kick that over in the boat because the cap was off of it. This is 1 gallon, so that's 4 quarts. These things take 7 quarts. So we're going to go ahead and pour 1 gallon in. All right, so that's 1 gallon in. I'm gonna get down and I'm gonna check and make sure I'm not having any leaks around my drain plug. Looks good, none leaking out there. Not that it probably would yet, but I just wanted to make sure. Sure we're not having any leaks around our oil filter yet. All right. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pour about a half a gallon ounce of this 2nd gallon. So that'll be 6 quarts, and then we're going to check it. Where we're at, see if we can tell where we're at on that. Alright, that's just a little over a quart that we've poured out. Don't fall. Where are we at now? we've poured out just a hair over 2 quarts. So we're just a hair over 6 quarts right now. So let's check our oil and see where we're at. Now the way I understand it is, pull your dipstick out, hold it up like this, and see where it's dripping off of, which ball it's dripping off of. It's supposed to be dripping off of about the 4th ball. Right now it's dripping off the 2nd one good, a little bit coming off the 3rd. Let's do that one more time. Dripping off the 1st one, a little bit on the 2nd, not much on the 3rd. So we'll put our other quart in and check it again. See where we're at. We don't want to overfill it. We got about 1.5 quarts left in the bottle, so let's put about another 1/2 quart in it. Just a little more. Let's check it now. Let's see where we're dripping at. We're dripping off the 3rd and got a little bit on the 4th. So we're going to put just a hair more in it and go from there. We're right there. Okay, there's 1 quart left in the bottle, so that's 7 quarts in, so that should be perfect. Should. Key turn. All right, we're on the 4th. Dripping off the 4th, so we're in good shape. I don't know that we're not dripped anywhere. Okie doke. Now, let's go around and see where our lower unit is as far as draining. She's still draining pretty good, so I'm gonna let that drain for a little while, guys. Like I said, that 75W90, I believe it is, gear oil. Yeah, 75, or it's 90, just 90 weight gear oil. It's pretty thick, so you know, when it's not really hot and up to temperature, it's going to take a little bit to drain. So we're going to let that drain, and we'll get back with you. Stay tuned. All right, guys, I'm still at it here. I'm trying to let as much of that gear oil drain out of there as possible. It is slow draining. I'm gonna give it just a little bit more time here to drain, and then we'll fill it back up. While I've been waiting, one of my spinning rods needed a new leader line tied on it, so I went ahead and did that. If I didn't have everything on my deck of my boat right now where I'm doing this, I'd start getting baits ready for, I'm gonna go to Douglas Saturday, get some practice time in for the Black Friday tournament. If I didn't have everything spread out on the deck of my boat, I'd go ahead and be getting baits ready while I'm doing this, but that'll have to wait for another day. But I'll get back with you in just a few minutes, and we'll fill it back up and button everything back up. One thing we can do while we're waiting, guys, I don't know how many of you have the Mercury Vessel View app with the Vessel View module on your boat, but if you don't have it, I think you're missing out. I don't know how good the lighting is here. Hold on, I'll fix that. I was going to show you this Vessel View module. So that's the Vessel View module right there. Just plugs into the wiring harness on your boat motor. Bluetooths to your phone to a Vessel View app. So let's get to the Vessel View app. There it is. Turn our key on. And you can log your maintenance. Let's let it connect. There it's 19. Alright, so it's connected. Let's go up here to maintenance. Alright. Now I don't know, it's showing that everything is up to date on here, and I don't really know why, because it's not. Let's go back. Let's see how many hours I had. I had 95.8 hours, so it wasn't hardly due yet, but close enough. So oil, we replaced that, and gear case lube, we replaced that. I don't know why it's saying 200, because the oil and gear case lube is not 200 anyway. But we logged our maintenance. That way it lets us know it's up to date. Tells you when to check everything else. And you can log, you know, you can update your maintenance on that. Well, it was saying that the oil and gear case lube's at 300, but we know it's not. It's at 100. So we go back out of there. But if you don't have this Vessel View, I highly recommend that you look into it. It's a couple $100, but in my opinion, it is well worth it. It monitors your RPM, your engine temperature, battery voltage, oil pressure, oil temperature, and you can reset your fuel every time. This is what I like to do. We all know that boat fuel gauges are notoriously inaccurate, so every time when I go to the gas station, fill my boat up, I'll reset my fuel and put in my boat has a 45-gallon tank, so I'll go in there and I will zero the fuel out up here and put it full at 45 gallons, and then it will as you're running, and you keep this app up and going when you're running, it tracks how much fuel you're using. Especially if I'm going to be doing a lot of running on a big lake and there's a chance that I might run out of fuel, I like to keep track of it with this rather than a fuel gauge. And it also tells you how much fuel you've used total for the life of the motor that you have. So, and another really handy thing I like about it is if you're on the lake and you get a warning beep, you know, you have no idea what that warning beep means. I mean, you know, so many beeps mean certain things, but I can't keep track of that. So this is like it's like a scan gauge for your vehicle. You can connect your mobile app to your vessel view and go into trouble codes, faults, observe faults, and it'll tell you if it's a current one. It'll show up in yellow that you have a current fault, and it'll tell you what that is. So you know, it'll tell you if it's something you need to shut her down and call for somebody to tow you back to the ramp or whatever to get it to the dealer, so can prevent some serious damage to your motor. So, you know, a couple $100, I think it's well worth it. So if you don't have that, look into that. If you've got a Mercury motor, and I'm sure they make them for Yamahas and Suzuki's and whatever motor that you might have, but from, you know, we're doing Mercury service here, so if you've got a Mercury motor, look into that. Be back with you in just a minute. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead, and it's still dripping just a little bit. I don't know if it would ever completely get done dripping. You see how much is in there. That lower unit only holds a quart, so it should be good to go. So raise this up just a little bit so see what we're doing a little better here. We're going to go ahead and put our vent plug back in, and I put the new washer on there. Be careful and don't cross thread it or don't drop it in the oil where you have to dig it out. Alright, 10mm. And again, there's probably a torque spec on these. I don't know what it is, so just get them good and tight. Not like break them off tight, but I'm notorious for over tightening things. And then I realize I've over tightened it when I hear it pop. Alrighty. Put the bottom one in. Nope, we don't put the bottom one in yet, dummy. We got to fill it up. See there? If you put the bottom one in, it would be hard to fill. Alright, let's get our pump ready to go here. Cap off the, we'll save that and put that back on there. And this just threads in where the drain plug would thread in. Probably would have been easier to thread that in there before I put the pump in the bottle, but I didn't. Good enough, I'm sure. Untwist it here. And again, guys, stupid me, got ahead of myself wife's texting me. Let me answer her back. And I put the drain plug in, not thinking that you got to fill this up until it runs out the drain plug, or I mean the vent plug. So bear with my ignorance. So, lower it down just a little bit. I actually don't know how low it's supposed to be, but most guys I see do it, have it up higher than that, and you start pumping. You pump it until it comes out this vent plug. There's got plenty in there. Why is my pump not working now? There we go. Why has my pump quit working? There's plenty in that bottle. What's going on here? Oh, I see. Our tube's come off. Hold on, guys. I'll get back with you in just a second. The tube has come off of the pump in the bottle. See, guys, I told you. Things that are supposed to be really simple for me, generally are not. Be back with you in just a minute. Alright, guys, in the interest of complete transparency, what my stupid hind end did was left this in the package and didn't put it on here. So it didn't come off. It just pumped until this got above the oil level in the bottle. So not only is this going to be a how-to video, it's also going to be a blooper reel. So let's continue pumping. There we go. She's coming out the top. I'm sure it's unnecessary and a waste and just more mess to clean up, but anytime I'm doing something like this, I always like to give it just one more squirt to make sure. And then you put now you put everything back in. Get it good and tight. Answer my wife back here. She's telling me what my daughter wants to eat. And I'm gonna raise this up just a little bit. So it's easier to get to. Take that out. And put our bottom one in. You're gonna have just a little bit run out before you can get that bottom one in. That's fine. Especially since I give it an extra squirt. Tighten that one up. Now, what you want to do is try to clean up some of this that you have right here. And really the best thing to do here, and I don't have that option here at my storage building, is to hook your motor up to the, hook a water hose up to your motor to the flush out port and let it run through there a little while and really flush that out good. I don't have a water hose down here at my storage building, or a water hookup, but I will do that before I go to the lake with it on Saturday, just to get all, and it probably really doesn't matter. It's not going to hurt anything for that to be in there. I just don't like it in there. As good as I can get it with a paper towel. Now we are going to put our prop back on. So you want to put a little grease on your prop shaft, and everybody says use Mercury 321 grease, and I'm sure that's the best to use. I don't have any, but I do have some Lucas marine grade grease, so I'm going to use that. I've used it before. It's always worked fine. It's not like I don't think you even necessarily have to do it, but it sure doesn't hurt anything to put a little on there. Some up on the splines a little farther. that, I did know what that was on, what that was called, but I can't remember. Thrust washers, I think is what it's called, a thrust washer. Put the prop back on. I didn't mention it, guys, but it's a good time while you're in there doing all this to inspect your prop to make sure you don't have any line wrapped up in your prop. And I did look at mine and made sure that I did not have line wrapped up in my prop. My flashlight. You definitely want to get that out if you do. That little dude back in there. And put our nut back on. We'll line him up a little better in a minute. Make sure you don't cross thread your nut. You'll want to put your block of wood back in there. Put it back in there to where it doesn't do that. Would be best. I'm just going to get it somewhat tight with this, and then we'll get the torque wrench out and torque it down. Yeah, let me stay lined up good enough. To 55 foot-pounds, or pound-feet, however you want to say it. Let's see, I can't see worth a crap, so about right. Our socket here. Oh crap, let's see, where's my little adapter? This is a 3/8 torque wrench and a 1/2 inch drive socket. That's alright, we had an adapter. There we go. Got her torqued down. Take your block of wood out. Make sure your prop spins freely. You play in it. Okie doke. Put her a little, yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that in a minute. All right. Now the last thing left to do is put your cowling back on. You do that the same way you took it off. Goes right back on. Slide it back down there, press the handle down, and you're good to go. That's got your lower unit server, I'm sorry, your 100-hour service, which is your oil change, and your lower unit oil change. Again, guys, like I said, it's normally really simple, but any kind of mechanic work for me, even though I've done a lot of it, especially on power stroke diesel trucks, is never as simple as it should be. But we got her done, and we don't have to worry about that for another 100 hours. The next 100 hour, this fuel filter right here, let me see if I can get my light to show you. The low pressure fuel filter on these is right there. And I see a lot of guys change them at 100, and certainly nothing wrong with that. The manual says 300. Probably what I'll do is at my next 100-hour oil and lower unit change, I'll go ahead and change that. Low pressure fuel filter if I don't do it before then. If I do it before then, I'll make a video and show you guys how to do that. And I'm sure it'll be a nightmare just like every other thing, mechanic thing is for me. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking with me through the bloopers. Hope this video helps. If you want to see more stuff like this, let me know. Even if you know how to do what I'm doing, at least it'll be entertaining watching me do it. So thank you guys for watching. God bless you.